lost almost 60 pounds following a whole food plant-based diet. So today's video, I'm going to be talking about my personal secret weight loss hacks that I used to help me get the weight off. But of course, aside from all the hacks I'm going to talk about in today's video, the biggest hack of all was the food that I was eating. And because I know what it's like to struggle to get the weight off, I have been up and down, back and forth, all around the block all my life trying to figure it out. You know, I've spent endless nights Googling different recipes, different methods, different diets. You know, I've been there. I know how overwhelming it can all seem. So that's why I am so excited that I finally feel, for myself anyways, that I've cracked the code on how to finally get this weight off. And while I was in the process of losing the weight, I wanted to make sure that I was documenting everything that I was eating, because I knew that if it worked, that I would want to be able to come here and share it with all of you guys. And that's exactly what I'm able to do now. So with that being said, if you are also feeling a little bit lost or struggling in your health and weight loss journey, or you're new to a plant-based diet and you just really don't know what the heck to be eating, then you are in luck, because right now I am running a massive sale on all of my weight loss recipe ebooks that have literally the exact recipes that I was eating to get this weight off. And because I know how hard and frustrating weight loss can be when you just really don't have the right direction, I love to keep my books nice and affordable, even if it's just through flash sales, that the majority of you are able to get a copy at a really discounted price, so that cost is never in the way of health or weight loss goals. So with that being said, let's start with the giveaway. So to the first 5 people that go down and click the link in my description box below, you are going to get a bundle of all 4 of my weight loss recipe ebooks for free. So good luck. But don't forget to come back to watch the rest of this video. And also let me know who you are in the comments if you are lucky enough to be the winner. Secondly, if you are not lucky enough to grab a free bundle, just hold on 1 second, because I am running one of the biggest sales I've ever run on my books before. I've done it one other time, and we're going for round 2 now. And that is that all 4 of my weight loss recipe ebooks are on sale for only $12. $12. So you do the math. That means that you're getting each of my books for only $3, and that includes my 2 newest ebooks, which are Shake Off the Weight and No Overt Fat Recipes. Both of them are even included in this bundle. But because it's so heavily discounted, I can't run these sales forever. So this sale will only be running for the next 48 hours. So if you're in need of some more weight loss friendly recipes, that's going to put you in the right direction. And I can confidently say that because these were the exact recipes that I was eating and it worked. Then be sure to check out that sale. The link will also be found in my description box below. All right, so let's get on to these weight loss hacks. So number 1 was eat before you are really hungry. This one is a huge one, as simple as it is, but how many times do we go too long without eating and then you're ravenous, you know? You just feel like you could eat your own arm. When you get to that point, you are more likely to throw in the towel and say, forget it all. You know, I don't have time to wait to cook some potatoes, or, you know, cook up some rice or stir fry some veggies. That just sounds like forever when you're in that phase of being super, super hungry. So instead of letting yourself get to that point and risk, you know, throwing in the towel and just grabbing the first thing that you can, you know, put in your mouth, instead of doing that, try to eat a little bit before you reach that point of being super hungry. That is something that I personally did in my weight loss journey, and something I still try to practice now. So it's not to say eat when you're absolutely not hungry, because that would be the opposite of what you want to do. But when you start to feel yourself getting hungry, that would be a good time to eat. Just don't wait until you've gone beyond the point and now you're hangry, not hungry, and feeling ravenous and just needing to eat like immediately. You want to do your best to prevent yourself from getting to that point. Okay, so the other weight loss hack, which is a huge one, is stop using oil when you cook. Oil just adds senseless calories to our meals. It doesn't really do much in terms of actually making you feel fuller or keeping you fuller for longer. It really doesn't have that effect, unfortunately. The most that oil is going to do when you use it in cooking is maybe enhance the flavor of some of your meals. But I promise you, once you get used to no longer using oil, and you know, you can just water saute instead, or use, you know, some type of broth to water saute vegetables, your taste buds will change and you will adapt to no longer cooking with the oil, to the point that when you actually eat a meal with oil, it will kind of taste nasty. I'm not gonna lie. I'm so far in now of not using oil when I cook that when I do taste something that has oil in it, I'm shocked with how much I don't like it. And it's a little bit like sugar. When you kind of give up sugar and then you eat something afterwards with a lot of sugar in it, it just tastes nasty to you. You know, it just tastes too sweet when maybe a month ago or 2 months ago you would have loved it. So it's really interesting how our taste buds change, and it's no different with oil. So not using oil when you cook means that you can actually eat a little bit more actual food in replace of the oil if you need to, or just eating less calories in general because you've omitted that oil. Okay, so the next one I'm going to talk about is to look at your food choices a little bit similar to how you look at spending your money. Now, before I start, explaining exactly what I mean by that, I want to preface this with saying that well, we don't count calories in this lifestyle. It is important to be mindful of our calories because at the end of the day, science is science, calories in, calories out, regardless of what you're eating. You could be eating a McDonald's diet every day or a vegan plant-based diet. It really doesn't matter. But when we're speaking in terms of weight loss, not nutrition, big difference nutritionally speaking, but when we're just talking about weight loss, it's going to boil down to if you are eating too many calories to actually get you in that calorie deficit to start losing, or if you're eating a little bit less to put you in that fat burning mode. So going back to being picky about how you spend those calories on those food choices, think of it in terms of this, like what I was just saying basically about the oil. There's about 120 calories in 1 tablespoon of oil versus, 1 apple that you could eat for roughly around the same amount. So the oil is not really going to do too much in terms of helping to take the edge off if you're feeling hungry, or keeping you full or anything, whereas the apple will be able to do that. Having like some type of sugary drink like a pop or fruit juice or a coffee that has a really calorie dense creamer inside of it, or you're able to sit down and have a complete meal with the same amount of calories that drink had, except the difference is that the meal is actually going to keep you full and the sugary drink is just adding unnecessary calories and quite possibly might just be just enough to keep you in a calorie surplus and not losing any weight. So be a little bit picky about your food choices. For me, in the beginning too, I cut out a lot of breads and pastas because I just found that I was able to have such a small amount of like bread and pasta for roughly the same calories as I could like maybe 2 small potatoes or something. Or the beans in one of my shakes, my fiber protein shakes, half a cup of beans kept me full for really, really long versus 1 or 2 pieces of toast. So, you really have to kind of pick and choose wisely how you're going to spend those food calories to make it worth your while to keep you full for the longest that you can possibly stay full to get you through to your next meal. Okay, so the next one is one that I live by and I think you should too, and that is that if you don't want to eat it, don't buy it, because you cannot eat something that's not there. I don't know how many times I've had to give myself a silent reward for passing a certain purchase up and just thinking to myself, no, I'm not going to buy that because if it's in the house, I'm going to eat it. And that kind of goes for, snacks for my kids or my husband. They don't eat exactly like me. So I have to be mindful when I'm shopping for their snacks and stuff too, that are these like trigger foods for myself that I'm going to want to indulge in, or am I okay? Because it's not something I'm really interested in anyways. So I tend to look for the things that I'm not really interested in. But if I know it's something that's going to be a trigger food, that I'm going to be craving it, wanting it, possibly, having a little bit and that little bit turning into too much of it, I just don't buy it at all. All right, so the next one is to eat more fruits and vegetables. These foods have the lowest calorie density, so they're not something that you should fear. They're something that you should be eating more of, and that's fruit included. I ate a ton of fruit. In fact, fruit was my first choice when it came to snacking, and I never limited myself when it came to fruit, and I still lost 60 pounds, so please don't fear fruit. And this actually reminds me of when I was a kid. I remember coming into the house, maybe after school or something, and complaining like, I'm really hungry, like, can we have a snack, this and that? And my dad being like, yeah, sure, have an apple. And we're like, ew, no, we don't want an apple. And then he'd be like, well, girl, then you're not hungry. Because if you're really hungry, an apple would sound delicious to you. So I kind of have that in my head from time to time. I hear my dad, R.I.P. to Dad, I love you. I hear his voice in my head sometimes saying that, and it's so true even as an adult now. If I'm really hungry, guess what? That apple is going to sound delicious. That bowl of strawberries are going to be something I'm going to want to devour. But if I'm not truly hungry and I'm just craving something too sweet or too indulgent, then it's probably just, my brain working overtime, dreaming of something delicious, but not actually that I'm hungry. So if you are truly hungry, then fruits and vegetables will sound extremely appetizing and you will be excited to eat them. So eating more more fruits and veggies is something you should be doing if you are on a weight loss journey, because those are the foods that you can eat pretty much in abundance without having to worry too much about it hurting your weight loss journey. And the last one is to stop mindless snacking or just finishing your plate just because the food is there or just because there's food around you, let's say at like a social gathering or something. This was a really hard one for me to undo, and it's still something that I have to be very conscious and intentional about, or it can get the best of me. So I don't know about you, but when I was smaller, I was raised with the mentality of you finish everything on your plate before you get up from the table or else. It was one of those in our household. My parents had 6 kids and no time for any foolishness about I don't want to eat this or I don't like that. They had no patience for that. So I grew up with that mentality, much like probably a lot of you guys as well. And that actually, I believe, is part of the reason that a lot of us are very confused about listening to our hunger and fullness cues as adults. Because when we were told to just eat and eat, whether we're hungry or not hungry, or to finish everything on our plate, even if we were already full, these are the perfect red flags for no longer being able to honor your own hunger and fullness cues. So this is something I am very intentional about not doing with my children now. But at any rate, it's something that we have to be aware of, that if you've made your plate of food and you've had enough, you don't have to keep going just because it's still on your plate. So what I personally do is if I've served myself too much, then I will just wrap it up and have it as leftovers for the next day. So we don't need to be wasteful. You can just save it for later that day or the next day altogether. And by doing that, it stops you from overeating, because you would be surprised how much those extra bites, that extra small amount on your plate can add up in a 24-hour period, calorie-wise. I really didn't do a lot of snacking, especially the mindless snacking. I really just said to myself, if I need a snack, I'm not going to hold myself back from having a snack. But oftentimes it was mainly just like fruit and vegetables, and maybe a fiber protein shake. I would have half the amount of my shakes. And that was basically what I would turn to if I was in need of a snack. But even with that being said, I would make sure that I truly needed to have a snack and that I was just not eating out of boredom, that, I have a taste for something, so I'm going to eat something. I tried to really undo that and really pay attention to, am I actually hungry? Do I need this snack? And if the answer was yes, then I went ahead and had a snack. But if the answer was no, I was like, okay, you're good. You're still good. You can wait until dinner. So mindless snacking is something you really want to get a grip on, because you would be surprised how many extra calories you could needlessly be adding on just by that mindless snacking. So anyways, I'm going to leave the video here. I hope that you found some value in today's video. If you did, I'd appreciate a big thumbs up, as well as if you're new to my channel, I'd love to have you stick around. My channel is all about health and weight loss, surrounding my own health and weight loss journey and giving you all my tips and tricks and recipes to help you along with yours. So be sure to hit that subscribe button on your way out. As well as don't forget about that awesome book sale. It will only be on for the next 48 hours. All 4 books for only $12. You don't want to miss it. Again, the link can be found in the description box below. Thanks so much for watching, everyone, and we will see you in the next one.